Mammad, who's an analyst of Russia and the former Soviet Union based in Westminster. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We've heard from President Putin this morning saying that he's open to diplomatic engagement, but Russia's interests and security are non-negotiable. What's your reading of what the strategy is, what he intends to do?
Well, he's doing what he has been doing for all this time. And what we've seen in the last several days, he's trying to threaten and to push Europeans to agree to his terms. That's how I personally see this.
But to agree what? Because obviously, a negotiation means both sides moving, but it doesn't look like when he talks about negotiation, his position is shifting, or is it?
Well, he's trying to threaten not only Europeans, but Ukrainians as well, to make some concessions on the ground, to make sure that they do not attack the separatist forces which we all know Russia supports. And he really hopes that Ukrainians wouldn't go any further. And to be honest, I have to say that at the moment, the Ukrainians haven't even introduced the martial law at this point, which I would expect to happen by this time anyway. Another interesting point that your previous speaker mentioned is the numbers. So I do not personally believe that Vladimir Putin is intending to invade the whole territory of Ukraine. I think this will be against his interests, just because the math doesn't add up. The number of soldiers that Russians have on the border with Ukraine at the moment is less than what Ukrainians have, not just in their reserves, but in their regular army. So that doesn't add up. Ukrainians have, if I'm not mistaken, about 200,000 troops, and it just the numbers that Vladimir Putin has at the moment on the border is just not enough to invade the country of the size of Ukraine.
It's understood, I think it's up to 200,000, like 190,000 Russian troops on the border, but that they're moving things like blood supplies and hospital treatment
again,
units,
it wouldn't,
which
correct,
obviously would imply some sort of action.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the same. He basically tries to back up his words by actions to ensure that everybody in the West and in Ukraine understands that he's serious about what he's doing.
Do you think that the sanctions will have any impact?
Well, at the moment, the way I see it, I do not think these are serious sanctions. First of all, because the oligarchs that were mentioned yesterday in Parliament, for example, brothers Rotenbergs, they have been sanctioned before, but because I think back in 2014 and again in 2020, I think by Americans and the European Union, but because the conflict has been ongoing for so many years, it's naive to think that the people like Rotenbergs wouldn't know how to avoid sanctions and how to move their assets around the world. And I think this has been happening for quite some time, not just with Rotenbergs, but with other people who have some interest in the West, who have kept their money in the West. They have been partially withdrawing money or moving them into other assets. So let us not be naive and understand who we are dealing with as well.
Thank you very much, Jamila Mammad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pupils could be blocked from taking out student loans if they fail maths and English GCSEs under government plans aimed at tightening controls on higher education in England.